People ask Reddit. What was the greatest pleasure you ever felt? When a multi-day, vomit-inducing migraine finally lets go. I swear the brain gets flooded with good chemicals after that and you feel better than normal. Watching people enjoy food I cook. It never gets old. Getting a job offer, of your dream job, days after rounds of interview and assessments. This one is kind of gross FYI, I got surgery to fix a broken nose so I could breathe better. This involved having my nose packed with packing, essentially tampons, for a few weeks. It wasn't the removal of the packing that was amazing, it was the first time I blew my nose shortly after. It felt like a half cup of mucus was pulled directly from my brain and there was a golf ball sized result in the tissue. The best feeling I ever experienced was directly after that, where breathing through my nose was so incredibly easy I felt like a superhuman who conditioned in the Andes for months of something. I laughed with excitement. Had sinus surgery, and removing the internal splints after about a week being clogged up was probably the best thing in the world. This is weird, but the day I decided 100% to quit my toxic, full-time job and retake my life even knowing I had no fallback. Driving 2 hours from my girl's house with the windows down, on a summer night with a warm breeze tussling my hair like getting a head pat by an angel, Spiritual State by Nujabes playing. This overwhelming feeling of sincerity and resolve took me over. Everything was on point. It wasn't a blast of pleasure you get when you do something cool like jumping off a 15-foot waterfall, but more of a glaze over of goodness and self-care. Like my world opening up again. Sitting down for the first time after completing my first marathon, I swear that feeling was better than any orgasm. Ship almost made me cry. Finishing a marathon. I trained for 3 months and although a decent athlete already, I had never run more than 8 miles. I worked really hard to compete and ran the first 20 miles slightly faster than expected, 8:00/me, before hitting the famous wall at mile 20. My speed dropped drastically but kept going without walking. As I approached the finish, I saw my girlfriend and friends cheering me on as I pushed through the end and wept for 5 minutes from pure joy and pain. I get chills thinking back on it and have no idea if I'll feel it again should I train for another. The first time I was in the barrel of a wave while surfing. It was so loud and quiet at the same time. I think I could hear aliens talking to me. The greatest non-sexual pleasure I've ever felt was 32 years ago. I was swimming with friends in the Pacific Ocean at Balboa Park in California. I got wiped out by a huge wave. My friends helped me out of the water, and I went and laid on the grass underneath palm trees looking up at the clear blue sky. A feeling of peace just washed over my body. I've never felt that kind of thing again. Probably when I began to go to the gym. The first day was very rough because I have never went to a gym before, so I was really tired. When I got home I just took a hot shower, I let myself fell into my bed and man, I fell asleep like in 5 seconds. Bro, I really slept well that night. The best sleep I've ever had. I have an extremely rare, maybe 100 in the US, genetic anomaly that makes susceptible to growing GI tract and other cancers. I just had my 45th surgery, my younger sister has at 70. It's not the anesthesia I enjoy, but the pre-anesthesia drugs they give you in the waiting bed, while under warmed up blankets. Hours of near bliss and conscious to enjoy it. Gotta look at the sunny side, right? Edit, I didn't expect this kind of response. I just told about the surgery so PPL would understand that I really know how the pre-surgery drugs feel and appreciate them. Wasn't expecting, or looking for it, sympathy, but thanks for all the great comments, even the guy that said I should just die already and stop burdening the healthcare system. Smile. I'll try to answer questions. Thanks for an unexpectedly engaging evening, Redditors. When my abuser was sentenced to 35 years in prison, no chance of parole. This might sound stupid, but a few years ago, I was desperate for love. I craved it in a very unhealthy way, so much so I had become depressed. I got very close to a dear friend who was similar to me. One day, I walked to her house with her, and right before we parted ways, my body acted on its own and hugged her. We were both surprised, but she really liked it. During the hug, I felt something gently passing through my hair. It was her hand. She was caressing my hair during our hug. No one had ever done that to me before. In that moment, I felt an extremely intense happiness flow through me. That single action gave me the best pleasure of my life. We ended up getting together a few weeks later. I know it might be different than pleasure, but I wanted to share this moment. I consider this to be the happiest moment of my life. Hearing "I love you" for the first time, unconditionally, after growing up in a house of abuse and trauma. Putting my sneakers back on after an evening at the roller rink. Yep, I know I dated myself. But that shit was the most amazing feeling a kid could legally have. Total footgasm. I had a small project go wrong. As I went to fix one part, a subpart messed up. So I had to step back to work on that. Then a subpart messed up. I took another step back. What I expected to take 20 minutes took 4-ish hours, but 3.5 hours in, I thought there was no way it would work out at all. When I got it all fixed, I did the Billy Madison "I am the smartest man alive." I've been riding that high for a few weeks now. ETA, I have to come clean here. This story is 100% true. But almost all comments have assumed I'm a programmer. I am not. The project I worked on was repairing a set of auto-retracting window blinds. I learned a lot about blinds that day. But I am not as cool as these people think I am. I had a dream that I was a toaster. I woke with a feeling of anticipation. Then I made toast with pure concentration. Afterwards I was entirely fulfilled, having accomplished the ultimate purpose of my existence. Confessing my feelings to a longtime friend and having those feelings reciprocated. When school's canceled for the day and you're half asleep and overhear your mother tell your sister not to wake you up because school's out. Used to leave a smile on my face before snuggling back into my covers. Not in intensity, but putting back a sock after brooches were removed in my foot. After 1 month of bandages and a special shoe to walk on your heel, being able to walk with both feet level and in regular shoes was very surprising and awesome. Graduating college. I almost dropped out, but I'm glad I pushed through and worked hard to achieve my degree. A pretty rich schoolmate treated us to a fancy restaurant for their birthday and they served us lobster ravioli for a starter. I can't explain the ducking explosion of joy and palate pleasure as I ate something like that for the first time. I don't know if it was the lobster itself, or the sauce. No meal has ever come close to how good that was. I can still remember it vividly 12 years later. Silly, but that's it. Can't pick out one, but here are a few. My first time shooting up morphine. Me getting rid of my addiction, 8 years clean now. All of my 3 kids being delivered. Becoming debt-free. Wild mix, to be honest. Landing my first kickflip. I'm pushing 40, and nothing in life has ever felt as satisfying as that first one. Walking out of prison and realizing I'm finally free. I was in for 6 years. Just got out August 6th. 17 days ago, robbed some corner stores. Young and dumb, though it was the only. Had a job but wasn't making enough to support my family and someone else's as well. No excuse. Learned my lesson, never going back to prison. Getting my first paycheck after 4 years of just making enough and a year of COVID out of work and getting a job that pay more than I've ever had experienced. Having just something else than a negative number at the end of the month for maybe the first time in 5 years. Thank you for listening to another B-Town Reddit Stories episode. Hit the subscribe button and check out our channel for more stories. Let us know your opinion about this topic in the comments.